Hey everybody, and welcome back. This is John, the owner of Long's Anytime Fitness. Thank you guys for tuning in and watching as we start to get into and roll out some more information for you guys on this kind of platform. Something that we can reach you guys more outside of our facility. So I want to again thank you guys for being members. Thank you for your interest in this, and I hope that over the course of this next year that we can bring you a lot of good information that helps you reach your fitness goals. So today I wanted to continue kind of what I was talking about last week. Like where do we get started? And I had mentioned that one of the best places to do, especially if you do become a member of a gym, and especially if you're a member of our gym, is to talk to one of our fitness professionals. We have multiple coaches on staff. I myself am also a fitness professional of 18 years, and we love to just help people. And we understand that not everybody can hire us, but everybody can have a conversation, and that's where we want to at least start with people. So today I kind of wanted to give a little more of a scientific background to this. So I wanted to pull up a few studies that show why it's better to use a fitness professional than to try just on your own, or using a buddy who just happens to work out a bunch. And I say this even as a fitness professional that I have used coaches myself multiple times throughout my career to help me with things too, because even though I might share some education with somebody, they might have a better specialty. They might have a deeper understanding of something. A couple years ago, I was fortunate enough to be able to go to a seminar led by somebody who I really respect in the fitness industry, as whose name is Dr. Lane Norton. He put a seminar on a couple years ago in Tampa, and I probably learned more in that weekend, or refreshed in a lot of stuff that I learned in just that weekend, than I had in a lot of years going to other things or studying and getting other certifications. And that could be really good for a coach, for themselves, to help continue to help themselves as well. Because most of us go into coaching because there was something with us that we wanted fixed. For me, it was being severely overweight. For other coaches, it's injuries. For other coaches, it's a continuation of something they fell in love with but no longer could do anymore, with like athletics, or you see this with bodybuilders a lot. And for others, it's just because they went to school for something. They had no passion for it. They just thought they were going to go to school for this because it would make them money. But they have a passion for helping people. They have a passion for fitness. So they become coaches, and they become great coaches. A lot of us coaches get certified and can specialize in a lot of stuff. And we get more education in a 6-month certification than a lot of people even get into a 4-year degree. And that's a challenge that I put out there for a lot of people. And you know, I've worked alongside a lot of great coaches. I've had a lot of coaches work for me, and I have been coached by a lot of great coaches. So I want to bring as much information as I can from all of those aspects, all the people I've gotten to learn from, whether they be people that were coaches, fellow coaches, people who coached me, or from clients of mine who I had to go, okay, this is what the book says, this is what works for you. And those two don't always perfectly match up. So, with that being said, kind of what does a fitness professional do compared to you attempting to do on your own? So there's a few things that I've pulled from a few studies. Just to give an overview of this, you can always do a deeper dive yourself if you want to see kind of different things in that. But the most obvious one is going to be the fact that more effective and faster results. This is not always what people are looking for when it comes to speed of results, but it is what most people are looking for. Now, the speed of it, there still needs to be a realistic side to this. So you can't come in expecting to lose 100 pounds in 2 months. Can't come in expecting to lose 25 pounds in 2 months, with certain exceptions. Okay? We got to be realistic with everything. But what happens with a lot of people, and we just came out of this with the new year, what happens with a lot of people is they will go gung-ho for a couple weeks. Some people will last themselves even up to like 6 weeks. Usually it's the 2 to 3 week mark. And by that time, people have burnt themselves out. People are not seeing the unrealistic results they had set for themselves, the unrealistic goals they have set for themselves. They're not seeing that happen, and they just give up. For whatever reason, a lot of people, when it comes to physicality, tend to give up really, really easy. Now, my personal opinion on that is because it's just uncomfortable. And a lot of people are looking for comfort, not discomfort when they're going for things, which is a reasonable human response, but it is not a human response that gets us results. So, a trainer, a coach, they're going to be able to be effective with what you're doing. So, people think, oh, I got to work out every day. You don't. People think they got to like starve themselves to get results. You don't. What we want to do is like what's effective and what's effective for you as an individual. A good coach does not give the same program to every single person. Will there be overlaps? Of course. There are all of us coaches love certain exercises and certain types of exercises. And that's kind of the great thing about exercise itself is as long as we know that we are progressively overloading whatever we're trying to do, we're going to get certain physical results. And if a good coach is listening to you, they might know you can't do this while my other client can. But I'm going to get you both results. You're just going to have to tweak it this way for yourself. And that could be because of injuries. That could be because of just basic mobility issues that might come with age. Sometimes it comes with weight, excess weight. Carrying excess weight around causes mobility issues sometimes. It could be weaknesses because you've never worked out before. Could be you're coming off an illness. There's a lot of factors going to play in all coaching. My personal opinion again. All coaching needs to start individualized. So even if you take a boot camp class, the coach's responsibility in there is to be able to confidently enough to walk up to you and say, hey, we're going to modify this exercise because I can see you're struggling here. Or we're going to modify this exercise and make it a little harder because that seems pretty easy for you. So that's what a good coach does, whether it's individual or in a small or large group. So one randomized control trial found that fully supervised resistance training led to a greater improvements in strength and body composition compared to self-guided or app-guided training. App-guided, that's a good thing, I'm glad I said that. App-guided and coach-guided are not the same thing. They're not. Now I say that with us having an app that can help you out. But it's not the same thing as actually having a coach individualize a program for you and be there with you. It's not the same. Supervised training also had better adherence. That came to a rate of 88% compared to 52%. Again, comparing this to self-guided or app-guided training. So you were 88% going to have So you were going to adhere to a program 88% more of the time with a trainer, with a coach, than compared that only you basically had a 50-50 to do it on your own or with an app. An app is doing it on your own pretty much. It's just it's a place to record or maybe see a picture or a video of something to do. It might do a little bit of the thinking for you, but it's still not. It's not even close to the same. And I say that by somebody that uses apps, but having a coaching background, I also use an app that is designed to modify and progressively overload that I have to input in my own information in as a coach. So I'm basically able to just coach myself with the app, which I found through a coach. So another study comparing personal training-led training to exercise alone reported significant fat loss. That's important to most of you. And strength improvements only in group age trained by professionals after 12 weeks. So a lot of these studies in the fitness industry in general will be very short because I mean, it's very hard to get anybody to adhere to anything in a study. That's also why there's more studies done on the physical side than the nutritional side as well. But in a 12-week program, which is a basic starting point, you don't, even as a coach, you don't fully know your client, their capabilities, what their body's going to respond to until a minimum of 12 weeks. And, you know, a lot of people will question it. So they're like, it takes 3 months to really get to know where I'm at. Yeah, it's a normal cycle. If you go to start anything and you're not going to do it for at least 3 months, what's the point of even starting it? You're not going to form a habit. You're not going to see any kind of lasting results. You might see, like, I'll just use keto as an example because I know it's a diet that most people have heard of. People will talk, oh, you lose all this weight going keto or carnivore now. Kind of the same thing. That some people, I know it's not exactly the same thing, but the same type of person goes for it because they're going for that quick result. Most of that quick result is just water weight. I'm doing both those diets. But they'll be like, oh, look how, and then it stalls. And then they gain the weight back because they add certain foods back because it wasn't something they could actually adhere to. So yes, after 12 weeks, I then as a coach can start to go, this is what really works for you. This is what we can stop trying to modify because we know what's going to go forward. This is where we know we can add or subtract from. After 12 weeks, I have a good understanding of where you are, and a good coach isn't going to try to force anything before those 12 weeks. They're not going to say, you have to do this. If a coach tells you you have to do this, you better be in an athletic program. And it's because you're a part of a big team and you just have to do certain things this way. But even eventually with those things get modified to the point to where a certain player, a certain position is going to be doing something different than other members. 12 weeks is also a good cycle of a program. So that'd be what we would call a mesocycle, a larger cycle. Usually broken down, a good coach practice down to microcycles as well. So you'll have, within that 12 weeks, you might actually have 2 to 3 small cycles in there to add those 12 weeks. And those are things that we want to make sure when we do stuff like that, that we are not trying to force a result. In those 12 weeks, we want to make sure that we're actually seeing what's changing, adapting to what is changing, and seeing what else we have to adapt to what isn't changing. That's the whole point of a coach. So that's something that we really want to think about when, again, why would we want to work with a fitness professional? So from the start, again, we're talking about from where people start. What kind of results do you want? Are you willing to give it 12 weeks? Whether it's on your own or with somebody else. Are you willing to give it 12 weeks? So that's where you got to start. Because after 12 weeks, you can start to go, well, this is working, this isn't. After 2, after 3, after 6, nah. It's completely unrealistic. Other research shows that individuals working with trainers can achieve results more quickly. Some reports suggesting 30 to 50% faster progress than those training solo. Now, my argument with that would probably be, again, based on adherence. So it is easier to tell yourself no when going to the gym rather than having to message your trainer and going, hey, I'm not coming today. So that's kind of where the adherence comes in. It's easier to disappoint yourself than it is other people kind of situation, which goes into the next study. Personal training has been shown to increase adherence to exercise programs relative to self-directed fitness activity, meaning people are more consistent and more likely to stick with workaround methods. Again, that's just because there's somebody there with you. There's somebody there that is thinking for you, and you just got to do the work. And if you are a thinking kind of person, there's somebody for you to ask questions to and learn from. I've had clients who did not care what or why we were doing, and I had them for years. And I had other clients who would bring in notebooks and wanted to know every detail of why we were doing this, what we were doing this for. whether it was a specific exercise, whether it was the rep range, the weight we were using, whatever it was. Why I would have them, face a mirror a certain way, or what I was looking for in their movement, or whatever that be. And again, you got the other ones who are like, I don't want to do any thinking, and I wouldn't be working out if I wasn't with you. So depending on which kind of person you are is also going to tell us your adherence and what you're going to do there. Studies also suggest that training with a professional increases exercise behavior and positive attitudes towards activity more than self-guided. So this is one that is really big for whatever reason, and I truly believe is because we are a culture of comfort. A lot of people have a lot of negative feelings towards working out. Even to the point to where inside the fitness industry, when you go to seminars, you will get people that will talk about, oh, don't call it working out. People don't want to hear that word. Call it training. That makes them feel like an athlete. Okay. At the end of the day, you're working. You're doing work. Like, you can't avoid it. Like, don't try to avoid something because of the word. And that's one of those things where is that attitude towards it is, if I go, I'm going to go do this work because I know it's the result that I'm going to get. It's what we all do for work anyway, right? Okay, you working out might not be a direct monetary gain, but it's a gain towards your health, which then could be a gain towards everything else. If you're healthier, if you look better, if you feel better, if you act better, if you have a better mental attitude, which all these are benefits of exercise, is not everything else going to benefit too? So if you took 45 minutes, 3 to 4 days a week to get in a good workout, and not necessarily hard, but something that is going to make your body adapt to a positive range, and it goes into positively affect everything else, I mean, isn't that something worth going towards? So why wouldn't you have a positive mindset to that? The soreness factor. So many people, oh, I don't want to be sore. Okay, you also don't want to be strong and fit. I mean, that's comes with the territory. Your body has to have something to change from. If you're not getting a little bit sore, a little bit discomfort, now not real pain, not injury-based pain, but something where it's like, okay, for a couple of days I might not move perfect, especially as I get a little older, so that then after your body heals, which is what's happening post-workout, and recovers, then you see a major benefit. You get to track progress. And that's what good coaches do. They track progress. They can tell you, hey, 2 weeks ago, you were only able to do this, but now you're doing this. Did you notice that? And that was always one of my favorite things to tell people. Or take a picture or a video the first time they're working out, especially when I had a private studio. And I would do videos of like the first time people would work out, or the first time them doing a big exercise like a deadlift. And they'll do that, and a few months later, I go, hey, I want to take another video of this. You've really increased. You've really progressed, and I want to show you comparisons here. And for some, there was one woman who was in her 60s that I used to train. She could barely lift 95 pounds as a deadlift. A couple months later, and this is all on her wanting, like she loved the movement. She loved doing it, so we focused on it. And she was in their 60s deadlifting 225 pounds. And being able to show people that, show her that, was something that that builds confidence in people, builds comfort in people. And that was somebody that went on to continue to work out on their own. So those are things that, you get faster results, more effective results. You're more likely to stick to it. You're more likely to be motivated. I've had clients who will message me from back in Indiana and go, still going at it. Hey, here's my results now. Hey, thank you for all the things you taught me then, blah, blah, blah. Like, that's what a good coach does. And I'm not trying to say I was a great coach or anything, but I put a lot of work into it and into my clients because they deserved that. And that's what us as fitness professionals have to remember, is that every person that comes for you for help deserves that help. Now, what they can afford to do, because we all do have bills to pay. I'm not going to pretend like this isn't something that we had tried to make money from, because this is careers, right? These are the way that us coaches pay our bills. And it's one of those things where sometimes it's a conversation and we give a certain amount that we can. We just can't go a step further with it, but we can still give information to keep you going, to help you out, to motivate you. And that's like what a good coach is able to do without giving away their trade, right? I can't coach you for free. I can't stand over you for free. But I can tell you, hey, this exercise is better than this if I see you doing something. Or if you ask me a question, hey, this is affecting me. Is there something else I can do? I can show you that real fast. Because not everybody wants or can afford a personal trainer or a coach, and we all know that. We all understand that. Moving on, you get higher quality training. I mean, that's an understatement. A lot of people don't actually know how to push themselves properly. Now, some people can get their heart rate going really high. They're sweating really hard, blah, blah, blah. They might be lifting a bunch of weight, whatever it is. But in reality, what they're actually doing is hurting themselves. So, strength training research under supervised participants, they tend to select loads that help them push themselves better than they would training alone. So, what a good coach will do, let's use the typical meathead like I used to be. All right, and I say used to because I make smarter training decisions now. But like when you're younger, you go in and you are just going, I want to lift as a guy. I'm trying to lift as much as I can whenever I can. With a proper coach though, they're gonna go, you know what? You don't have that today. I just saw you do your warm up. Your warm up move kind of slow today. We're gonna keep it here. Or they're gonna go, you did that for 3. And I know this week we weren't supposed to go up, but you did it so easy, we're going to add on this amount of weight. So it's one of those things where a good coach helps you select a better volume of work, whether it's the weight, the reps, or the sets. And they're going to tell you, hey, if you continue going that way today, you're going to hurt yourself. Or, hey, today you got more in the tank, we're going more. So that's what a good coach is able to do. Supervision leads to higher workout intensity and effort to track progress. So proper intensity and proper effort also go with how you're recovered though. So a good coach is going to be able to push you on days where you have it and is going to be able to slow you down and focus on something else on days you don't. So one thing that I always used to do, if a client came into me really tired, I would scrap if it was a heavy day. I would scrap if it was a high heart rate day, because that would probably mean their nervous system somewhere is probably affected. They ate maybe poorly. Maybe they were out all night the night before. Whatever the situation is where they didn't have the energy they would normally have. And I would literally go, okay, today we're going to focus on this instead. If you're tired, I can get you to focus on form, and we're going to remember that form even when you're tired. If you're tired, if your body's not working the way it's capable of, and I try to make you do something intense, we're going to raise the risk of injury. But at the same time, if you don't ever push yourself that way, you're not going to get certain results. So those are things where a good coach can learn to keep that balance for every individual so that you guys can all see results no matter who you are as an individual. So this is kind of the differences that what personal trainers do, where a lot of people don't understand. Like, this is what we're educating in. Number one, we customize the programming. So our goal now, it doesn't go so much for class results because you are trying to find the greatest medium where everybody can get some sort of result. But even inside there, we should be attempting some modifications for results. But on a one-to-one or even a private small group situation where we're helping 2 to 3 people at the same time, but we're still treating it as one-on-one, we can customize a program based on injury, movement patterns, current health factors, whatever it may be that's affecting that individual, and where we have to go to progress the programming properly. Proper technique and safety. I will say, and there's also some science to prove this, Some technique is overblown. Not every single person moves the same, and every coach needs to understand that. And every coach that tells everybody to squat exactly the same way is not a good coach. We do not all squat the same way. We do not all hinge to where we can do a deadlift version the same way. We don't all have the same vertical movement patterns. It's not all exactly the same. Do we start with the same baseline going, okay, I'm going to see this? Yes. But from there, where do we go? And that's actually how we keep people safe. And I'm speaking that from experience. When I was 21, I had my back blown out squatting because of a coach making me squat a certain way when my body would move a different way. So when I squatted the way he wanted, it put my body into a certain pressure to where it popped one of the discs in my back. And then herniated two of the other ones at the exact same time. And that was at 21 years old. So that wasn't even an age factor. That was literally my body didn't move in that pattern. He said it should have, and then it did. Knowledge and confidence. What we want to talk about here is a lot of people try to undermine the knowledge that coaches have. They don't understand the hours of study that we have. What it takes to get certified, what it takes to go through college classes if you go that route, what you have to learn to pay attention to anecdotally with clients so that you can take the book knowledge that you learned and then how to apply it properly to every individual. And good coaches are always modifying things to an individual. Yes, we have the baseline of this is what's taught. This is it. Now you got to move it around a little to go, this is what fits that person. And confidence. To me, the more knowledge you have, the more confidence you have. And it's really important to always be continuing to get that knowledge. And that's what I encourage any coach I ever come across to do. I myself don't really take on too many one-on-one clients anymore. Excuse me. I will do specifically in person with some people. You guys saw me work this past summer with youth athletes, which I'll probably do again this summer. Being the coach of youth athletes through the whole year, it's something I'm very passionate about right now. And then online, I do coach a few people as well. But a good coach is able to take whatever factor they're in and have the confidence to know I can help you. So if we're inside Anytime Fitness and I have all this equipment to use, it's pretty easy to be confident. If somebody tells me, hey, I'm going to be traveling for 3 weeks, I'm going to be in hotel gyms, here's the hotel gym I'm going to be using, what can I do? I need to have the knowledge and confidence to go, here's what you do to keep up with our plan. And I use that as an example because that's happened a lot over the course of my career. So, what I hope this does for anybody that's a member of ours, thinking about being a member of ours, a member of another gym, and you just come across this, is I want you to start treating professionals, these fitness professionals, as the professionals they are. They are there to help you. They more than likely, I'm going to say 9 times out of 10 at least, at minimum, have more knowledge than you when it comes to this stuff. And they are in this profession because they care about the results people get. I'm going to say this. Nobody becomes a personal trainer for the money because it's not there. You become a personal trainer for helping people. And this is the route you decided to help people in. It's a very important route. What we do is something that it's one of those things where a lot of people want to put it down. A lot of people want to act like it's not really a profession. A lot of people want to think that, oh, you probably have to have a second job, blah, blah, blah. When the reality is we are helping people with their health, with their overall health, have better quality of life, not just more quantity of life. And that's one of the things that I think my coaches in particular, but coaches around the world, need respect on. And understand that we're not there just trying to take your money. We're there trying to help you. And it's one of those things where you should be willing to at least have the conversation and take advantage of some of the knowledge that we have, because this is what we specifically study for. This is our interest. This is our passion. This is what we love. People don't become a personal trainer if they're not passionate about it. And we're passionate about something, you want to know all about it. So again, I hope this encourages everybody. Next time that I come to you, I will be actually interviewing in the gym one of our coaches to go over some of this as well. So I hope you guys look forward to that, and I will see you next time.